All right, I just left the JC trailer plant. This is their other plant. It's in the distance, Gincor. So they're part of Gincor. So over here they make walking, what they call them? Walking floor trailers. They make step decks, flatbeds, but he says they haven't done those in a while. And they make dump trailers. And the one in Keswick, that's where they make you know, RGNs and stuff like that. And I came here because yesterday they reached out, they called me and they said, we saw your video, how you were, you know, frustrated with the connectors, and they say we can probably help you, you know, like these ones, right? And so we want to put them somewhere either here or here. And so I just stopped by, they took a look and they said they can definitely do it, but you know, their plant closes at 3:30, and I was here around 1, so it was not enough time. It was not enough time to you know, to do this. And then I asked him, I said, can you guys maybe help me with the shims? They said they might have tools, and so they brought some tools, and actually they also had the pipe. One was adjustable wrench and one was pipe wrench. And he says, you know, depending which way you move them, you can still use them, right? And so we tried, and those things are frozen solid, you know, because this trailer, like I mentioned, the trailer was sitting at the Fontaine plant for at least a year, and then I bought it in 2018, right? Or 2019, I forgot. I think 2018. And so anyways, it was sitting, everything was rusted, and so I couldn't do anything. So at least they said, yeah, just stop by when you have time, you know. They need at least full day. And so what I did instead, I noticed that when I was sitting there, I noticed that that axle was in the air. You know, it was in the air, which is never good. And so I decided to, yeah, and these ones, the chains in the back were super tight. Like the bags were overextended. And I'm like, what the heck, what's happening, you know? And then I figured out that yeah, because of all these shims, there was not enough weight on the back, and so I increased, like even running empty now, right? I had to increase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how I got it from the plant. It was in 7, and 7 now it's not too full, but check this out. Look how high it went up. Unbelievable. So there's so much pressure. So I gotta be careful with these shims, you know. So because I put that red shim in there, well, actually no, wait, they were empty, right? So this should work fine with when I'm loaded, but just you gotta be careful with these, you know, boosters when you're empty. And that one went up very easily. And of course what I did, I used those boards over there, just put them in here underneath, and I drained all the air, with all the air down, and the air down here, right? And you do that by flipping the switch. See, now it's up, and so I got all the air out, and then I drove over on one side. Actually, you don't even need to put boards under both sides, just under one side, and then you do this, you tighten the chain, and then you turn those, I see these, you close these so that no air goes into your bags, and then you reinflate, you know, that's it. And then I did the same, of course, before I reinflated, I did the same thing over here on the back, and this was actually much easier. And so now I'm not gonna bother. You see, like I did the same thing. I closed the air and then reinflated, and so now the whole axle sits on those chains, But yeah, these might be, no, actually these should be okay. So red should be okay, because I remember there was a negative angle when this axle was over there. I think now I like the curves. I like the curves much better now. Like this looks really good, you know, straight, nothing is, no negative angle. I like that. And I'm gonna save on some you know, tire wear. And so here I went with usually the recommended height is number 3. That's like the default, but I changed it to 5. I changed it to 5 so that you know, this is as high as possible, otherwise it can catch the ground when you're driving. And so the Jeep is all secure, everything is cool, the number is there. And somebody noticed, and I didn't even intend it this way, but that's my horsepower. 605. And here we went with position 2, you see, because I figured if I raise the front taller, it'll push down and help to distribute the weight in there, you see. So we are going like this, and we have 4 chains on the Jeep. We are rolling. We are cooking with gas. And again, that's how we roll this time. 2 plus 2, but even cooler than that, -1. So it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 minus 2. So yeah, like I said, my favorite saying in Russia, далеко пойдет, если не остановит, which cannot be translated into English. Very difficult. It's a popular Russian saying. And we are sitting near this sign, and you know that you're in Canada, right? When you see KM/H, you know for sure this is not Mexico. Well, it can be Mexico, but then you see all the signs are in English. You see like land for sale. If you want to buy up to 40,000 square feet with this small lake in the middle, you're supposed to call those guys over there. So anyway, I was supposed to have 2 loads. 100,000 pound John Deere 450 from Lakeshore, Ontario to Baltimore, and we signed the agreement. And the lady, I said, so where's the rate confirmation? And so the lady was just waiting for the guy who has the machine to check on it and tell her that it's okay, that it's starting, you know, because it was cold last week and we had lots of snow. And she says, I don't want to send you the rate confirmation until I hear from the guy that everything is fine for Monday loading. And I said, well, if I had the rate confirmation, at least I can start ordering permits, you know, booking escorts, because, you know, I would be 105 feet long. I would use the Jeep on the Stinger. And this was supposed to be the first trip with 2 plus 2. And she says, no, I don't want you to, don't order permits yet. I want to make sure everything, you know, is set up properly. And so she probably knew something was off, you know. Like normally, as soon as you book it, the agreement is signed, they have all the paperwork that they want from you, like you know, insurance and stuff like that, copy of your MC authority, and sometimes they ask for references, right? And this one was supposed to pay me by wire transfer, which got me really excited, because I checked their credit and I found out I could not factor them. Like their credit was bad, you know. And so they said, yeah, we can pay you by AHS, what's called AHC, ACH. ACH. I said, ACH does not work in Canada. Hello, Sergey. Да. Подписчик, говоришь? Alright, geez, I should get going, you know? Some guy calls me, says, hey, this is, says his name in Russian, I'm your big fan, watching from New York City. And I'm like, okay, so what's happening? And he says, I don't know who else to ask. And basically he's been doing flatbed step deck, and he wants to switch to heavy haul. And I said, so what kind of trailer you buy? And he says, well, I don't think I'll be 600 meters, turn right onto Chatham Street North, Chatham County Road. He says, I don't think I want to be going over 65 tons. And I'm like, wait, this is your first heavy haul trailer? And he says, yeah. And so he was asking me questions about his truck, but I thought it would be interesting to tell you guys. So I said, what kind of truck are you buying? And of course this guy is Russian, so I thought he would say Kenworth or Peterbilt, and he says Volvo VNX. And I didn't say anything, but I don't think Volvo is a good truck for heavy haul. And I said, what kind of a lift axle are you getting? And he says, no lift axle. It's he says all axles will drive. And I'm like, wait, so you're buying a tri-drive truck as your first heavy haul truck, and the guy is buying a tri-drive. So I don't know, maybe they had you know, sometimes factories have good deals, you know, on trucks that are pre-built, and this sounds like that kind of a truck, because he was asking me, he says the spec shows that the axle ratio is 430, and he says, what do you think, is 430 okay? I said, no, not okay. And so I explained to this gentleman, I said if you're doing 50-55 ton, all you need is 391. If you're doing 60 and more, you need 410, like a real 410, right? And that's what I was trying to change on my setup, right? Because I have 410, but the tires are 24.5, so effective is 391, which is fine when you're empty, but when you load it, it would really help a little bit, you know, that extra torque at the wheels would be nice to have. But a buddy of mine from Florida says that this is the guy that I mentioned before. He just bought a Peterbilt, like a huge truck with a Trail King, and he said he wants to, but he got his truck, he decided to save money, so he got it with 550 horse, where I got mine was 605, right, and 2050 torque. And I think I don't remember if he got 1850 torque or 2050, but he says he feels that he needs more torque, and so he was researching all these tuners, you know, a tuner that you can buy for your truck, and so that's what that gave me an idea as well. So instead of changing my tires, because if I change my tires from 11R 24.5 to 285 24.5, I will get the effective ratio of 410. But that's a lot of money. Well, you have to buy tires anyway, right? But still, like, I've been driving for 2 years, they still look like brand new. So I'll probably have to drive another, I don't know, 2 years. And you see that my speedometer, 183,881 kilometers, 183,000 kilometers, which is just over, what, 110,000 miles? That's all I did in 2 years. And so my tires, and of course that's good for the truck, you know, so you don't kill the truck, you don't do too many miles like when you're pulling a reefer or dry van, you know. And so I don't want to wait that long. I want to get 410 now, because I especially now the construction season starts, right? But the whole point of 410 is to add extra torque. And of course, so one way for me is to change my wheels, my tires, and I can keep the same wheels or rims I have now. Or option 2, more expensive, is to go to a gear shop and change my gearing to something crazy like 430, and then it will become 410 because of the tires. But I don't want to do that. I don't want 430, and it's too much money. It's much cheaper to do it with the tires. But then this gentleman from Florida gave me this idea that actually if I want more torque, all I gotta do is just buy one of these tuners. And there's 2 most famous tuners. One is Bully Dog, which is $1,000, and it gives you, you know, three tunes. I think one is performance, one is economy, and one is a balance. And you still get, you know, like 100, oh I forgot, 75, 100, 150 extra torque, you know. And the other brand is what's it, that they're somewhere in the west near Chicago, something performance, PSB, PTS, something like that. And they have their own box. I think it's the same one as sold by Pittsburgh Power, and that one is like $2,000, you know. So that's for the future. So for now, yeah, I'm gonna come back eventually to this plant, I mean that way, so that they can reposition my air connectors, and they agreed to do it for free. So thank you, JC Trailer, you guys are the best. And now I just need to find a way to do those shims, to change the shims. And I asked him, I said, so how do you, even the guy got a pipe, he got a pipe and put the pipe on top of his wrench. He could not move that bolt 1 millimeter. Like they're really frozen in there. And he says, yeah, you need the air gun, you know, with a big socket, like 2-inch socket. And I said, wait, so maybe those tire places might have it, right? And he says, yeah, tire places might have it. They have that big gun that they use to tighten the nuts on the wheels, except they need a bigger socket, because this is much bigger than the nut on the wheels. But so, but basically that gave me an idea. So that's what I want to change. I have the shims cleaned up, right? I have that blue shim ready to go, oiled, cleaned, and I have the timbers, because you need timbers to break your break the angle. I just need to find somebody with this air thing, you know. So that's my next project. So changing the shims, and then yeah, eventually when I come back, I'm gonna do this reposition the connectors. I'm watching in the mirror if that thing steers properly, and it looks weird So I only have 2 axles on the ground, but everything works. And so yeah, and then if I have some extra money, we'll try to do something about the torque. So like I said, either change tires or get the tuner. I want to do that. And besides that, all I need now is loads, right? I got the Stinger, I got the Jeep, the 2+2 is set up. And so yeah, I started saying that I was supposed to do 2 loads, Lakeshore, Ontario to Baltimore, and then Las Vegas to Alberta. And I was so positive about that excavator, but the lady just disappeared. She never got back to me Friday. She says the guy did not call her back about the excavator, and she did not want to send me the rate confirmation. And of course, without the rate confirmation, you know, it's nothing. It's not a load. And Monday I tried to email her again, like any news, nothing. She doesn't even respond, you know. And so then this Las Vegas guys, you know, woke up and they say, hey, we finally heard from the customer, because I asked him for more money. I said, if you want me to guarantee you the truck in there next Tuesday, then I'm not gonna bother with another load. I can just go straight to Las Vegas. And they said, how much you need? So I gave them the number, and they said, okay, this was Friday, and they said, okay, let's we're gonna talk to the customer. And then he was in the meeting, he was busy. Friday they didn't hear anything, and then Monday, all of a sudden, after this Lakeshore load got canceled, I see a message from this company, the broker, and they say, yeah, your rate was accepted, we're good to go, working on the rate confirmation. I'm like, what? I didn't want to go this far empty, because this is crazy, like 2,300 miles, but you know, the rate is excellent. I negotiated a great rate, and I'm very, you know, I look forward to using the 2+2 for the first time in my life. And it's a drill rig, 105,000 pounds, and that's why I want to change the shim and the deck, you know. And it goes to Alberta, which, you know, in the spring there might be some loads out of there. And actually I suspect that I'll be stuck in the West probably for a month, because that what happened once. I went there with a flatbed and I just couldn't get out to Ontario, because all the loads were, you know, vertical. Like you see, like this one is Las Vegas, Alberta. Then the next load, chances are I will find, will be Alberta, Tacoma, Washington, and then Tacoma, Washington, BC, then BC, Denver, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, Alberta. You know, that's what I found out last time. So all the loads go like this, south to north, north to south. It's very difficult to find a load going east. And actually some guy called me, he says, oh, I got a load from Ontario to Alberta. I said, no, forget it. I'm not driving. Wait, he said, sorry. He said Alberta to Ontario. Like, nobody has loads from Ontario to Alberta, you know? And I said, no, I just did 2 trips. We had to drive 2,200 miles empty to Alberta, and then the rate was not that good. So I just, I only did that because I was prepaid up front, which helped me a lot with the Jeep and the Stinger. But now I would not do that unless the rate really took into account the deadhead. Like on this load, I'm getting paid for deadhead miles, okay? And but my rate was still fair because the broker jumped at it. So I think I did not ask him for too much. It was reasonable. And one more thing can happen. I just had a call from a broker I worked with before. They said, "Oh, is this serious?" I said, "Yeah." Well, we got a couple of loads out of Texas happening soon. We were wondering if you could help us out. I said, "Definitely." I said, "How heavy?" That was the first thing I asked. I said, "How heavy? What's the weight?" Because, you know, if it's 70 tons, right away, you know, I cannot do it. And she said, "No, they're gonna be, it's machinery, it's gonna be between 100,000 to 145,000. I said, "Okay, that's interesting." I said, "I can do up to 120, 125. I said, "I have 10 axles, 4 axle truck, tandem Jeep, 2+2 Stinger." And she says, "Great, I'm gonna send you an email." And she says, these loads are not happening till the end of the month, and if you could give me your quote, that would be awesome. And I said, "Hey, if you can pay me," I said, and I explained to her, I said, "I'm going to Alberta." So I said, "I'm tied up until the end of the month, but if you give me enough money," I said, "I don't care, I will go empty to Texas if you pay me, you know, if you give me the rate." And she says, "No problem, just, you know, reply to my email, tell me what you need, and we'll go from there." I said, "Okay." And she said, "Oh, by the way, where do you run? Can you do US to US?" I said, "No." I said, "I can do two things, inside Canada, so Canada to Canada, and US to Canada, or Canada to US." And she said, "Got it." And so if this thing, you know, comes about and we reach an agreement, that's what might happen after this load. So I might be, maybe I'll find a load, you know, let's say she gives me this load from Texas. I don't know where they're going, but somewhere in Canada, of course, because again, I cannot do US to US. But if she can wait a couple of days, and maybe I can find a load from Alberta, you know, to Texas, and then I'll do her load, Texas to whatever, you know, then we're really be rolling it in, you know. All I need is one, maybe two good loads, and that's the beauty of this self-sufficient operation, because I have the most important thing is no girlfriend. No girlfriend, no wife. Otherwise, I would definitely have no money at all, right? All this lipstick, jewelry, super expensive. So no girlfriend, no wife, no employees. And that's why I get paid both as a driver, as a wardrobe security, as president, as a dispatcher, route planner, mathematician, to come up with the rate. So you gotta wear lots of hats if you want to make serious coin in this business. So those are the plans. That's what's happening. So for now we are flying at 92 kilometers an hour, 57 miles per hour towards a rest area on 401 West. And I don't know if I'll cross into US today or tomorrow, but I just need to do my e-manifest. And I don't like driving in the dark. Plus, you know, there's no rush. I have lots of time to get to Las Vegas for the beginning of next week. So we'll see. But yeah, for now, this is 401 West, somewhere near Tilbury. And that's the Flying J I found. There's a Flying J in Tilbury, Ontario, about an hour away from the US border in Detroit. And so I'll have a quick snack and do my e-manifest, and we'll go from there, see how when I can cross. So that's it, boys and girls. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on my way to shiny and hopefully warm Las Vegas.